On today's Star Wars canon lore episode, the topic is the Supreme Leader and what we know of the character so far. Hey guys, this is EckhartsLadder. Hello and welcome to another Star Wars lore episode. As you guys know, I don't really often talk about theories, Snoke, or really content that hasn't come out yet. But I thought with The Last Jedi now only weeks away that it might be fun to examine the history of Snoke and to try to make some realistic Snoke predictions based on the information we have been given. Now, this video will have some very minor The Last Jedi spoilers, but is based totally on official information, not on leaks of any sort. I'm going to try to keep all of my predictions fairly safe and grounded in information we more or less know about the character so far. Nothing zany, wild, or crazy in this video. First of all, Snoke is 100% a new character. He's not the stormtrooper who bumped his head in A New Hope, Joe Costa New, Darth Plagueis, Luke after waking up on the wrong side of the bed, or anything like that. And that's not just my opinion, but it's also what we've heard directly from J.J. Abrams and others. That being said, Snoke's real-world design has some clear connections to pre-existing characters. The first thing worth exploring is the focus on wealth that seems to dominate Snoke's persona. He wears a gold robe, large jewelry, and is said to possess vast, almost unending resources. To me, this immediately harkens back to Lucas's vision for Palpatine by the time of The Empire Strikes Back. Although originally, as I covered a few weeks ago, Palpatine was supposed to be a character controlled by a sort of powerful shadow council, by the time Lucas had prepared early scripts for The Empire Strikes Back, he had transitioned the character to a powerful, wealthy politician who may have possessed concealed force powers. In fact, early versions of the Emperor's hologram scene in that movie had him wearing an extravagant gold cloak and being somewhat handsome. The handsome part obviously doesn't apply to Snoke, at least not anymore, but he does have a sort of destroyed handsomeness. Look especially at his blue eyes and his facial structure. You can imagine without his age and horrendous injuries that he could have been a bachelor or playboy in his day. Am I saying that Snoke is some version of Palpatine? No, clearly not. For one, the version of Palpatine that we did get was deformed by the dark side. You couldn't say that he was handsome in any sort of way, and he always presented himself in a very modest black robe. However, we know that JJ drew from unused ideas in the creation of Episode 7. Is it possible that he, along with Rian Johnson, have done something similar with the development and creation of Snoke? I think that it's likely. What does that mean for the character? Well, he's probably trying to take advantage of the political climate within the galaxy to gain ultimate power, however he sees it. Snoke's motivations are completely unclear, whether he wants political power, to dominate others, or something else entirely, we really don't know. The character obviously also bears clear similarities to Darth Plagueis, primarily as he existed within Star Wars Legends. Plagueis was obsessed with indefinitely prolonging his life, which, given the injuries to Snoke, seemed like a possible motivation for that character. Plagueis was also interested in strange and uncommon force abilities. We've seen weird devices in Snoke's throne room. I wouldn't at all be surprised if he had a similar fixation. We do see, for example, that Kylo Ren is able to handle matter and energy in a way not ordinarily seen in the Star Wars universe. We've seen Snoke do something similar in the trailer for Episode 8, and I think it's quite likely that he taught Kylo Ren this power. Perhaps, again like Plagueis, Snoke is some sort of scholar or philosopher who knows old dark side techniques which have fallen out of popular use. Going back to Legends though, we also know that Plagueis believed that causing death and destruction was one way to prolong one's life through midi-chlorian manipulation. Given the First Order's construction and use of Starkiller Base, perhaps Snoke believes something similar. On that point, in a recent Entertainment Weekly article, Andy Serkis, the voice and mocap actor for Snoke, said the following: "Some people absorb unspeakable pain, then vow to spend the rest of their lives working and fighting to make sure no one else has to suffer the same as they did. Others endure the same agony, but deal with it by magnifying that pain and blasting it back upon the world." We will get to this more later. Just returning finally for the Plagueis and Snoke connection, one main difference between the two is that Plagueis was a Sith through and through. Snoke is not. Now that we've looked at a couple of real-world connections between Snoke and other characters, what about his fictional background? Where did he come from? As I covered in one of my very first videos for this channel, the new expanded universe has been focusing very heavily on the unknown regions. We've seen, for example, the observatories on Jakku pinging the unknown regions in order to plot a map out of the galaxy. Thrawn's attempts to protect the Chiss from a grand unknown threat, Palpatine's sensing of the dark side outside of the galaxy, and the Imperial remnant leaving in search of the Emperor's Eclipse dreadnought. It is clear, at least to me, that Snoke may be extragalactic, or at least from a not known part of space. He may be from some sort of intergalactic hinterland, which would explain how he got access to so many resources. I will say though, despite both coming from the unknown regions, the rise of Snoke and the rise of the First Order do seem to be somewhat separate. We learn in the Bloodlines novel that the First Order was created and funded largely by centrist senators. I don't think that those senators had anything to do with Snoke assuming power. I think more so than Palpatine, Snoke likely co-opted the First Order in order to achieve some greater goal. I think it's very possible that Snoke either seized control of the Imperial remnant as they escaped to the unknown regions, or he manipulated Palpatine, fostering an interest in the outside of the galaxy so that he could eventually be found. The question though is this: why has he chose to strike at the galaxy? It seemed like there was a moment of intense trauma in Snoke's past, which has defined his character. This is what we know. Snoke has a hatred or rage towards the Star Wars galaxy, and, in particular, the Resistance and the Republic. Snoke was seriously injured. His hate is due to something in his personal life. His deformity has been likened to a World War I injury. It seems possible that the Republic of old, or perhaps the Jedi, committed some sort of wrong against him. This would explain why, only now, with the almost re-establishment of the Jedi Order and a new Republic, that he is attacking the galaxy. Though, to be fair, it is very possible that he just senses some sort of power vacuum. Obviously, the question of what could have happened to him is an interesting one. Was he expelled from the galaxy, left to die somewhere, attacked by the Republic? We really have no idea. But we do know that there was one key event which presumably happened a long time ago, given that he was said to watch the rise and fall of the Empire, which totally shaped his being. By this point, I think the only safe thing we can say about Snoke is he's a very mysterious character, and I don't think our questions will be answered by this time next month or even next year. Think of Palpatine in the original trilogy. We are given no explanation for his power or how he rose to prominence. Admittedly, Snoke does seem to be more of a central villain, but this is almost exactly what Rian Johnson said in a recent interview. For example, in the original trilogy, we didn't know anything about the Emperor except exactly what we needed to know, which is what Luke knew about him, that he's the evil guy behind Vader, Johnson says. We'll learn exactly as much about Snoke as we need to, but what's really exciting for me is that we will see more of him, and Andy Serkis will get to do much more in this film than he did in the last one, and that guy is a force of nature. To summarize, Snoke is a brand new character, likely from the unknown regions or perhaps even another galaxy, who has experienced some form of hardship in his past. His current aims are unknown, but from a storytelling perspective, he bears similarities to both Darth Plagueis and early versions of Emperor Palpatine. At least that's my read of the character. I would love to know what you guys think. Where do you think Snoke is from? What is it exactly that he's so angry about? And what are his ultimate goals in the universe? Let me know all of that and more down in the comment section, and also feel free to let me know any future video ideas that you'd like to see on this channel. Right now, I would also like to announce that I will be giving away PS4 and Xbox One copies of Star Wars Battlefront 2. For more information on that, keep your eyes peeled to future videos. I'll be giving one copy away on the YouTube channel and another copy away on my Twitch channel, which can be found at twitch.tv/EckhartsLadder. For more information on the giveaway, make sure to subscribe to both channels and keep an eye out over the coming weeks. There'll be no purchase required, no Patreon donations, nothing like that. I'll just have some sort of random draw. Finally, I will be streaming on Twitch today, or maybe YouTube, I'm not sure, within half an hour of this video dropping, so keep an eye on that and check my Twitter if you want to know more details. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, this has been EckhartsLadder. May the Force be with you.